Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Playing World of Tanks. I'm AJ, and today we'll be looking at a game that I had in my BatChat, which is the French Tier 10 medium tank. Now, on this map, the spotting done early counts for a lot of damage in most of the games, so I'm going to take relatively risky approach. What I'm going to do is I'm going to race up the middle of the field until I spot something, and as soon as I spot something, I'm going to take a right angled turn and just head for the ditch that is on the right side of me right now. Unfortunately for me, the object 430-2 just racing through the middle of the map kind of puts my drive to an early end. But I sort of did my job in which I spotted most of the enemy tanks early. Now I'm just going to go into a position in which I can take out the object 430-2 because where he is going, he's only safe from the tanks in the front, but not from the tanks on the side. He does take a lot of damage crossing the field as well. So for this tactic to actually work, which I did, you need a really fast tank. A BatChat or maybe a Leo 1 could work. A Leo 1 would be relatively more vulnerable because it's a taller tank to the BatChat. Now, I just needed one shot to take him out. Now I am sort of gonna contest the hill, and you should always contest the hill and never leave it up for grabs because the hill is very important. It provides really good spotting opportunities for tanks with really high view ranges. Also, if something's sitting on top of the hill, he will have relatively easy shots at anything that is spotted around it, and if that is true, you're probably giving up more than 20 to 30% of the map control if you don't secure the hill for your team. Now, with my speed and looking at the enemy's team, there's only one tank that could be here before me, the Object 140. And in hindsight, I should have reloaded for him, but I wasn't really expecting him to be up here or take him on. I was just going to be passive and spot him for the arty. I spot the AMX 5100. He fires, he misses. His tank is relatively large and quite easy to pin, so my shot actually doesn't miss. I go out hoping to put another shot into him, but he's not interested in engaging me. He sees the VZ-120 as an easy opportunity to do damage. He fires one shot into him. I go out again. This time, it's gonna be not so much fun for the AMX 5100. He gets taken out relatively quickly. Now I'm starting my reload, and at this point, what all good auto-loading players do is they generally inform their team, you know what, I'm reloading and I'm gonna be ineffective for the next 40 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever your reload is on your autoloader. Now I'm hugging the windmill because there's 3 enemy arty, and I'm pretty sure that they're zoomed in to where I'm sitting. The MX-5120 goes behind the windmill, and I decide as soon as I'm reloaded, I'm going to go towards the outside just because we'll have 2 different avenues of fire on the tanks that are on the hill. And this makes it easy to sort of like pen somebody's armor if you have 2 different avenues of fire, because generally the tank's armor is good in the front, and he has to keep it pointed towards the tank he sees in the front. Now, unfortunately for our VZ-120, he gets taken out by the enemy arty. I know the MX-5120 is about to reload, so I go out, and my aim was to take out the IS-3 before he was able to retreat, which I do, and then I just sort of reverse back behind the windmill, not wanting to get shot by enemy arty again. Now, one other crucial piece of information that I did glean was that the Object 140 did eventually make it up to the hill, but he was relatively late. We were in control of the hill, and he was not willing to play it aggressively enough to contest it. Now, the enemy arty does try to take a shot, but it hits, I think, the windmill, and I sort of survive unscathed. Now, what I'm gonna do is, and this is why the hill is so important now, I'm gonna go to these bushes that are at the side of the hill and spot anything that is further in towards the enemy base around the church. And hopefully using that information, my team will be able to do more damage. Now I'm reloaded here. I could have aimed high to sort of end the T-57, but when the first shot actually missed him, I would then thought, since I've already hit his track once, maybe I can just track him. So I did track him a second time, and that hit actually did cost that T-57 his repair kit, and he goes back into behind the church where our tanks that are sitting in the middle of the map don't have good shots on him. So I go back to where my spot was, hoping to spot the M46 again. At this point, I could have progressed further and spotted something, but I was kind of afraid that if I got caught out in, let's say, 2-3 bushes to my right by the Object 140, who I still didn't know where he was, it could be very, very damaging for the tank, just because the RD was probably zoomed in. I thought the RD was probably zoomed in on the hill, and if the Object 140 lights me, I'm probably getting RD'd right there and then. Now I see the 110 moving up slightly. Now I know that he's gonna either spot the M46 as he progresses further, or he's just gonna make it straight into the base and light something there. Poor M46 was in the line of fire of many tank destroyers, and before I can do anything, he gets taken out. I know from how the 110 was killed by the T-57. That means the T-57 had shots on him from where he was sitting, and that means he was closer to the church. I decide to come forward, see if I can light him, and I do. T-57 unfortunately doesn't have the armor to run away from us, and even if they did, RD was kind of on this case anyways. The Object 140 pens me on the move, which was kind of lucky as far as he's concerned. But I know from that he has left the hill altogether, and that means that I'm relatively safe up on top of the hill, and so is the MX-5120. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down and try to spot the tanks by getting close to the church. That was the initial intention that I had when I was leaving the hill altogether. Now I see the tank destroyers are heading forward along the inside route of the church. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go towards the outside by the hill and see if I can spot something as I go further down. We spot the Object 140 as we are progressing further. The T-34 is spotted behind the church. I know I'm going to be on the move. I don't have time to sort of like aim my gun, so I'm going to just auto aim, hope it lands. The first shot doesn't. Second one does, and that takes out the T-34. Now, there's enemy tanks sitting in their base, a couple of TDs. So I race for the low ground to get underneath their guns as quickly as I can. Object 140 is, you know, a one-shot as far as I'm concerned. The first shot misses, and the second shot doesn't. And that's all she wrote for the Object 140. Now the RD hits me. At this point I repair my tracks. The match is more or less over. There's one enemy tank and 3 artillery left. They just don't have enough firepower or map control to take us on, so I just wanted to do one more shot of damage before this game was over. And unfortunately in doing so, I do track myself. Now this could have gone horribly wrong. If this M5553 was actually loaded, I would have actually bitten the dust right there. Instead, I managed to live. I'm trying to run away from the tanks, but the M5355 leaves me and very low health, but doesn't kill me. Now the M5355 tries to come out and engage me, but at this time I reloaded, and that was all, you know, he could do at this point was dodge enemy shells and pray that his reload was better than mine. Now I don't do this often, but hopefully you guys liked the video and were interested as to why I got the Ace Tanker badge. It is primarily due to spotting, I think. I spotted roughly 4k damage for my team. Spotted 12 tanks, got the Scout medal while I was at it. Hopefully you guys liked the video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I hopefully will see you on the next episode of Playing World of Tanks.